Good evening, Facebook. This is your girl, Teresa B, coming to you live and direct from the Heat Seekers. Today, I have my wonderful guest, Mr. Maul. Is that how you pronounce it?
Mawule.
Mawule. I knew I was going to mess it up. Mawule came
Yeah.
today, and he came today not just because, it's a Saturday and we all chilling, but he came today to bring the heat. So for all of you that are out there in La La Land, Roku Land, and all the other places that are watching this show, he is a wonderful indie artist with some dope music, and we're going to talk about it. How you doing today, Mawule?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Excited to be here. Excited to chat with you.
Good, good. So I was listening to your music and I was like really blown away because it really sounds like something that should be like on the top 10 of billboards. Like it
Oh
does,
wow.
yeah, it doesn't sound like your normal indie artist. Like the production of it and the mix mastering and everything is like so on point professional. So kudos to whoever's on your team that is working with you with that.
Thank you. Yeah. I work with the guys at the Spot Studios here in Denver. Rich Velthrop and Glenn Sawyer, and they work with produce my tracks, mix and master the whole thing. So they're a great production team for sure.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I might need to hire them. I'm just saying they did a really good job. So tell me, when did it all start? When did you know that you were going to be in the industry?
So I was always writing. My parents are my dad's a minister, and so growing up in a Christian household, I was always in the choir. And so for me, I think I knew I at least wanted to pursue music when the children's choir was too boring for me. And at the age of 13, I was like, man, I want to sing with the big guys because I love to sing. The kids were they're too playful, and I was very serious. And so that's when I really knew that okay, I wanted to do something with music. And from there, it just kind of took off with me writing more and me just trying to figure out, if I have songs that I've written, who do I need to work with to get it produced? How do I get in the studio and all of that? So I would say professionally, it started for me in 2013.
Okay. So were you still in school at 2013 or
Yeah,
you?
so I was actually finishing my master's degree at the time, and trying to make the decision whether I needed to go higher ed fully or music. And yeah, Glenn Sawyer at the Spot Studios really reached out to me, and that's how the whole thing really started. And at the time, there was a management side to the production company, and
Mhm.
so that's how it kicked off for me is joining their team, recording my early projects there, and then kind of taking over from there and now operating in on my own term and as my own businessman.
Okay. So how did they discover you? Like where were you at to be discovered?
Reverb Nation at the time, I'm not sure how active people use Reverb Nation anymore, but back in 2013, Reverb Nation was like one of the big sites that you wanted your music to be popular on. And so that's how they discovered me is on Reverb Nation because I posted a lot of my music on there. And at the time, I produced everything, beats, lyrics, everything myself. And so when they reached out, they were like, "Hey, your sound's really good. We love what you're doing, and we know that when we if we were able to work with you, we can take it to the next level." And so that's how that whole relationship started.
Okay. And so being discovered, did they immediately go into contract mode or was there some type of preliminary talks of what they could do and couldn't do for you, considering that you were pretty much doing it all on your own? Like, what they do for you? What they come to you about?
Yeah, we had some great discussions, and I think for me, anyone that talks to me, they'll get to know that like when it comes to the industry and the business as an independent artist, I'm probably more versed than a lot of people, just because, like I said, I do spend time really learning the ins and outs. And so when we were having the discussion, it was more about, here's what I'm trying to accomplish. And with them, as a production house, they want to get known as a team that makes good music when it comes to mixing and mastering and everything. And so, we just had a few discussions. And at the time, I didn't really have a lot of money to put into the project. So we kind of went in 50-50, kind of seeing this as like a true partnership you put in the work, I put in the work. When the song's released, we'll all put in the work to get it out there. And that's really how it started. And, as an indie artist, my music, especially for that video that you've seen, it's entered places that a lot of indie artists have not really had even their music videos really seen or discovered. And so it's truly been a collaborative effort working with them.
So I like how you said that collaborative effort, because what ends up, I work with indie artists as well. I'm a Sony Orchard distributor. And he's come to me thinking that I'm supposed to do everything for them as a distributor. And I offer them a little bit of marketing, but it's not anything major because what they're paying me isn't major. So they seem to think that once they put it in the hands of someone else, they are supposed to immediately fly with it and make them a superstar. Can you tell our audience how that collaboration piece works, like what you guys do as a team to go ahead and make your music work or make your music spread throughout?
Yeah, and so I think the big piece is, and I'm sure this, is like, if you have an artist that's either coming to you with a single or for a full project, is first and foremost, everyone believing in the song or believing in the project. And not to feel like, oh, just because I wrote the song, I'm the only one that knows about it. But having the whole team really know about the record, really know about, what inspired the record and all of that, and having those conversations, that really plays a big role into everyone feeling invested. And so that's the one thing that's different for me and my team, is that, when the song's released, like, they're still listening to it, you know what I'm saying? Because they love the record. And so that's one of the things that, we always really make sure to talk about when we're doing the records together. And then the next piece is like, how are we going to market it? Having those discussions, how are we going to market it? And the one thing that a lot of people forget is that we all have connections. We all have connects in different industry sectors and all of that. And so everyone bringing their connections to the table and really identifying, hey, when the song's done, who can we tap into in this industry, in that industry, and all of that. And so, like I said, it's truly been a collaborative effort. Even when it comes to marketing, what are we going to pay for? What's the budget look like? Can we afford this? Or, maybe month 2 in the release, that's when we can truly afford this one thing that we really want to accomplish. Or, if we want to talk about building an audience, this is where we want to build the audience next, after we've try to see how much pre-organic growth we can see with just our own social network and all of that. And so that's kind of how, like, the collaboration really works, is everyone talking about it, everyone talking about, how we can also use our own platforms to catapult the record, and also understanding our own analytics within our social media, because that is huge. When, I know that, sharing something at 12 p.m. is much more beneficial than me sharing at 9 a.m. or 3 p.m. You know what I'm saying? So even us talking about that and coming up with a plan, like a sharing plan based on everyone's analytics. Like I said, I don't think a lot of teams think about that, or even utilize that to think about, how they promote a record.
No, they don't. I can tell you that right now. So what most indie artists in their mind is that they feel that as long as you have it on Facebook and Twitter and you have your video out, that boom, all these people are going to suddenly watch it. There's no analytical nothing. Mm-hmm. Like, they don't even know where their audience is coming from. Mm-hmm. So can you give some tools or tips for those that are trying to market? Oh, and before you give the tools and tips, can you also tell us how long before the record came or the single came out do you market before your stuff comes out, and then what you do, the tools you use to do afterwards?
Yeah, so before the record comes out, we usually do like a 3-month release plan. Mm-hmm. And within that release plan is detailed to the T of, like, when we're actually, what a timeline of when we're actually going to reach out to radio, when we're actually going to reach out to blogs, when we're actually going to reach out to playlisters. And within that 3-month as well, like, let's say we have an R&B record. Now we know the focus is not every blog out there or every radio out there, but we're targeting specifically blogs, playlists, and, all different entities that are within this category, within this genre of the record that we're in. What I find is that a lot of teams kind of just like do a mass cast to different entities, but really, you get a lot of rejections when you do that. But when you're really focused, then you can really, like, divide the work and figure out, okay, with this week, everyone is going to do research on these different blogs. We're going to try to figure out what their brand is, if they match what we're doing. And then, when we do an outreach, the outreach is very tailored to what we've known about their brand. So it feels very more personal. And so our release plan, definitely, it's like 3 months of like strategizing, 3 months of planning. And so, we also do 3 months because a lot of times you have to follow up with bloggers, with different entities, because, you might send an email once and a week later, everyone's busy, and so it's just a simple follow up. And a lot of people don't even think about planning that follow up within their release plan of like, hey, if you haven't heard anything from these different entities, like, let's do a follow up here within this timeline. And so our release plan is very detailed. And within that release plan, we know, obviously from outreach, who's going to be releasing it, who's going to be supporting us, all of that. And so, if when we look at our budget, we know we don't have to spend our budget in a certain area because we, from our pre work, we know we're going to get coverage and going to get support in certain areas. And so when the record is released, one of the big analytics. I'm a big analytical person, and so I'm always utilizing just social media in general. One key tip is, within our release plan as well, everybody that at least is on the project has an intense, I would say, posting on social media, so we can boost our analytics and our attention. So algorithms and all of that are in favor of us, knowing that we need to boost our attention and get people on our content. So when we release this song, the algorithm already favors us, and we have a better timing of when we can release, because we've used like maybe 1 month and we posted intentionally to boost our analytics and to boost our impressions on everything that we post. So even that is in a pre-marketing of a release plan that we do for a song. And so then when we actually are releasing the song, we already know when we need to market, release teasers and all of that. And so one of the key things that I highly recommend to everybody is, obviously using analytics to drive Facebook marketing ads. For me, when it comes to videos, YouTube ads are a great way to build an audience when you can actually market within their ad marketing campaign. So that's something that my team and I use as well. Social Blade is also a great tool, especially if, let's say you have a team and 1 month you guys are doing intentional blasting. Social Blade is a great tool to see across the board what your audience looks like and what your activity looks like across the board in all your social media platforms. So you can see where maybe you need to put less work and more work based on what you see on Social Blade. And Social Blade is just an analytical website that kind of shows you ideally what your platforms look like and what your engagement looks like on all your platforms. So we use Social Blade a lot. And then one company that we use for playlisting, just as a strategic, I would say, strategic plan within our release campaign, is De Novo Agency. They're by far one of the best agencies that I've seen that actually does legit playlistings, that is not bot operated, and it's all authentic. And so we use them strategically within our marketing plan to also not only boost the success of the record, but possible discoveries from new listeners, and then also try to get the Spotify editorial by having a tailored attention on a specific record, so it can look like we do have attention coming into the record while we're already planning on all our social medias to feed into it.
Awesome. And the reason why I needed you to, my Instagram went out. Do they have a time limit on these lives?
I think sometimes they do.
Oh, okay. They just kicked me out. So what you're saying to me right now is so vital, because no one gets it. So when I'm expressing this to artists, they look at me like I'm crazy, or they think that, I don't know what I'm talking about. When I try to tell them you have to, and I took a marketing class in college, so I know that the average consumer has to see something 9 times before they buy it. So for some reason, they don't seem to understand that you have to have a marketing plan 3 months prior, like you just said, sir, before they release their music. Why can't they understand that? So they're in a rush because they want to be out there in the spotlight. But then when their song is downloaded or uploaded, because I uploaded to Sony Orchard, it's uploaded, and boom, guess what happens the day of release after they've done no marketing or nothing? They have 6 sales. And then they're wondering why they only have 6 sales. So I appreciate you telling us how that process works, because you have to have that 3-month strategy prior to release. And then you have to have the marketing strategy after the release.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. And I hope some of my artists heard you, because they think I'm crazy. So I appreciate that for you saying that. But and you're living proof that it has made you successful. It has made you obtain more spins. It has made you obtain more curate or Spotify lists or Billboard lists or whatever lists that are out there. So you're living proof that what I'm saying is not in vain. So
yeah. And there's even I'm sure there's even more to it than even what I've described. So what I described to some is even just the surface level, right? But it's there's so much that goes into it.
Right. Yeah. So I appreciate the little nugget, the tip. I know you couldn't give them all. Boy, the little bit that you gave them is worth $1 million right now to me. These are discussions that I have on a daily basis that artists don't seem to understand, because they don't understand the business side of music. So, but you're doing well. You're doing very well. And I congratulate you and your team for putting such an awesome marketing campaign to push your music the way that they have done it. You're out there and you're doing great things. Thank you. What's next for you? What's coming up next?
I have, so I'm sitting on at least 5 3-song EPs at the moment. And it goes from, I've done a lot of collaborations from reggae bands to other indie artists that I want to help support and help them also get their name out there. And so what's next for me is really trying to come up with a marketing plan for when to drop all these different songs that I'm sitting on with a bunch of talented artists. So that's what's next for me. I spent 3 years working on a 3-part music video series that stands on its own. Through all 3 videos stand on their own, but you have to watch all 3 to know the full picture. And it took about 3 years to work with the directors and the cast to put that music video together. So it's more of a movie than a music video. So I'm also working on how to effectively promote that. So that's a whole nother topic as well too. But yeah, I have a lot that I'm sitting on that I just need to put out.
Cool. So tell us about your videos, because a lot of artists out there don't know anything about sync licensing and all the regulations that they need to actually put a video out. Can you give some little nuggets for that?
Videos in terms of just music videos? Okay. I think for me, when I do music videos, I try to like really shoot music videos that tells a story. So outside of just the generic videos that a lot of people shoot. And the reason why I do that is because, and I'm going to drop a gem, but Film Freeway is a great site that artists can submit their music videos for film festivals.
Film Freeway.
Yeah, Film Freeway. And so I try to shoot my music videos so I can also pitch it to film festivals and get it picked up for screening at film festivals. And so when it comes to my music videos, I try to be very intentional and really think about, if someone were to listen to this song, how can I really build on this song with a visual that is not your typical music video, but is like very like captivating, like a movie. And so that's how I shoot my music videos. And the music video you've seen won the Best Music Video Award at the DC Film Festival in 2017, and also screened internationally at the Auckland Film Festival and a bunch of other film festivals from 2016 to 2018 when we released it. So that's kind of something that I do that I know a lot of indie artists don't do. But again, the goal is really to try to figure out, how do I really get my music out there? How do I gain that exposure? And there's multiple ways to do it. And Film Freeway is a great way to do that for indie artists that are listening.
Awesome. So I don't know anything. I just know about the distribution piece. I don't know about the video side, but I was asked a question question the other day about sync licensing.
Yep.
Do you know where they can go to get their videos done as far as licensing is concerned?
As far as sync licensing, so I think one of the major things is like, so I don't necessarily think music videos when I think sync licensing. I mostly think putting music to submitting music to film or for film. And really the easiest way, not the easiest, it's very complicated. I don't even know how to best explain it because it's very, not necessarily like convoluted, but there's a lot of entities to it. But the
Mm-hmm.
first is one, I think artists need to have a mindset of like, hey, if I have this song, what visual is this song gonna be on? Is it the TV show All American? Is it, shows on VH1 like Love and Hip Hop and all of that, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
like if once you have that understanding, then as an artist, you really want to get familiar, watch the show, get familiar with it, and really understand the type of music that they use in those shows. And so once you have that understanding, there's a bunch of different ways that you can go about, trying to contact the music supervisors. LinkedIn is a great tool. I use LinkedIn a lot. If I know who the supervisor is and they're on LinkedIn, I use LinkedIn as a great way to just start following them and start seeing where they're at. Especially now in COVID times, everyone's on Zoom doing like panels and all these things. So, it's kind of like a creeper's game of like following a supervisor, trying to build that relationship and network with them. So that's one way to do it. INDB, think I'm saying it right, is a great place to also check out the shows on there. And, that site has a lot of info on the shows, the cast, the directors, the you name it. It has all the information you can find. And so that's a great place to also find contacts for music supervisors and start pitching your music to try to get it picked up. I think the biggest thing is like artists making sure that if they're independent, that they own their own publishing to their music, and they've actually registered and cleared that side with ASCAP or BMI. A lot of artists have not done that. They're just registered as a songwriter and not as a publisher to represent their own music. So that's one of the key things, is also to make sure that, if you're a one-stop shop for your song, also having like the documentations to show that, hey, I own all these shares of the music. Or if you don't own all the shares, that all the shares are registered appropriately, correctly, and you have split sheets and all of that to show, who money would go to if your song gets picked up and all of that.
Right. And that's another discussion. A lot of artists that I have worked with in the past, they don't know this information that you're telling them. They didn't even, some of them hadn't even heard of BMI, but yet they had a song. And I'm like, we got to train you somehow, some way. So I appreciate you saying that. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh, you don't even know the half. I got stories upon stories upon stories. So, but yeah, I might need to get you to come and do some training because it seems like you know your stuff and you know what they need because indies just see the music part. They don't see the business part.
Yeah, that's something that I do right now a lot. I think my weeks is often doing one-on-one meetings with indie artists via my consultation for my company, Mawule Music Group, and just helping artists get their music registered correctly, their shares done correctly, split sheets and all of that. And I also, I'm in a few spaces where I get music briefs, where I get to pitch music for sync licensing. And so one of the challenges that I ended up experiencing, because I don't make music for all these shows out there, but different artists do. And so with the connections that I've made, I'm trying to help a lot of different artists, clear their music so I can represent them and pitch them on their behalf. And so that's something that I do really on a weekly basis. But yeah, I'd be happy to come in and do a training for your artist or anything like that.
That would be absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. Well, I have enjoyed you. How would someone get in contact with you after the show if they had some questions or if they want to have access to your music, or do you have a website or social handles that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I actually did have a website. A bunch of people mixed my website. So I took my website down when I started the company and now going through the rebranding. But, something every artist should do is make sure all your handle is the same name on every platform. So Music Mawule is my handle in any platform, even TikTok. You can find me with that handle, Music Mawule. And it's spelled music and then Mawule, just like on the screen there.
Mawule. I love it. I love how it's pronounced.
Yeah.
So, but thank you so much for coming on my show today. I really appreciate you. This was a plethora of information that is definitely needed for my artists and beyond. So for those of you out there that listen, this is Mawule. I'm gonna say his name right. He's an indie artist. He's out there doing great things. You would never know he was indie because he is out there soaring. So we're gonna leave out with his video today. I'm gonna put some more clips on some other social. Since Instagram cut me off, I'm gonna put the ending clip on that for you as well. But check him out. Go to wherever music is sold. Yeah, wherever music is sold. Especially this song that I'm about to play. I really like this song. So
thank you.
Go and buy some spins, people. Show some brotherly and sisterly love for once. So, but I thank you so much for coming on my show today, and I will be in touch with you very soon. Also, if you want to check out the Heat Seekers magazine, he also has an article in there as well where we featured him. So please, please, please follow this artist because he is dope. Here's his video.
I may not have much to give you. Don't have dollar signs to my name. Money doesn't mean a thing to me. So what you see, girl, is what you get with me, yeah. A simple lifestyle, most don't understand. Life is short messages, keep ringing in my head. Gotta live it up each day, it's what they say to me. But I think I got it made, as long as you're here with me. As long as I got you, baby, you don't need to worry about anything, anything, anything. You know you got my heart, my love is good enough. No need for anything, anything, anything. You know I lived a simple life. All money ever did was bring me strife. Wanna make it clear, so you know I drop the cash when I need to. My simple lifestyle, most don't understand. Life is short messages, keep ringing in my head. Gotta live it up each day, it's what they say to me. But I think I got it made, as long as you're here with me. As long as I got you, baby, you don't need to worry about anything, anything, anything. You know you got my heart, my love is good enough. No need for anything, anything, anything.
Ooh, you was with me from the jump, just a dollar in a dream. After looking for the one shot. Started from the bottom, now we here, always holding it down. Girl, you the leader of my cheers. Hey, I got you and you got me, and we don't need nobody, baby. We complete the way this beat. Man, you would've thought that this was magic. Anything you want, girl, you can have it. Hey,
as long as I